All right, I'm going to start that again. Sorry. That just... Come on. All right, let's get going. So welcome, guys, to the new rules for weight loss after menopause masterclass. Now, I will introduce myself in just a second for anyone who doesn't know me, who hasn't been around in my community for a while, who might be new. Starting, first of all, we're going to just make sure that everyone who's here is in the right place. So you are in the right place if you have been steadily gaining weight since menopause, even though you may not have changed what you eat or changed your exercise routine or like just changed anything at all about your lifestyle, but it's just been happening. You've steadily been gaining weight and you don't know what to do. If you've tried everything, including old diets that used to work, and even tried some new ones too, but nothing's working, then you're in the right place. If you're sick of looking in the mirror, feeling like you're looking at a stranger, which I know that's what I felt for quite some time as my body was changing, and there were all sorts of things happening that I felt like I wasn't in control of. Or just not liking what you see when you look in the mirror and not feeling confident. If you want to look good in your clothes, look good, feel comfortable in your clothes again, and get your confidence back. You don't want to have to keep buying bigger sizes. Then you are in the right place. Okay, so what you're going to learn today, you're going to understand the hormonal changes that come with menopause, why those old dieting and exercise methods don't work anymore, the nutrition changes that you need to make that will help you shift stubborn belly fat and just excess fat in general. You're going to learn effective exercise strategies that align with your changed physiology, because your physiology is different now than it was before menopause. That's just a fact. And why it's important to manage your stress and prioritize recovery and sleep even more. I mean, obviously, like at any stage of life, it's important to manage stress, prioritize your recovery and your sleep, but it becomes even more important after menopause. So, just very, very quickly, I don't think any of this applies to anyone that's here, but we'll run through it very quickly anyway. This masterclass is not for you. If you're not ready to change, not willing to commit to new habits and strategies, then obviously the strategies and the methods that I'm going to be talking about here in this class today may not be effective for you. If you're looking for a quick fix or a quick diet solution that doesn't actually address any of the underlying issues causing the problems that you're having, then again, this session won't give you that. If you're not open to learning and exploring how menopause affects your body, excuse me, and adapting your approach, then you won't benefit from this class. And finally, the last one, which might sound a bit funny and a bit silly, but it's just it's got to be said. If you get upset or offended when somebody gives you a valuable free training like this, when someone spends their time giving you the gift of their knowledge, information, expertise, and then makes an offer at the end, then this masterclass isn't for you, because that's what I'm going to be doing. Let's just be very clear and transparent. I am going to be making an offer at the end. I'm going to be telling you about my new program, Midlife Mojo Reset, and I'm going to be making an offer. So if that upsets you or offends you in any way, then this isn't the place to be. Simple as that. Okay, so why should you stick around till the end? Prizes, basically. I'm going to announce prize winners at the end of the call. There's going to be 2 up for grabs. There were a couple of posts in the Facebook group where I asked people to introduce themselves. So there's been 1 random winner chosen from those. And then also from the list of people who are registered for today's class, I've pre-chosen 1. And I just used like an online, I think it's called random prize generator, something like that. Anyway, it's a website where you just put everyone's names in and it spins a wheel for you and randomly selects a winner. So I'll announce those at the very end. And the prize is a spot in the VIP cohort, which is basically you get the program, you get to go through it inside the membership inside the Better Than Ever membership. So you get everything else that's inside the membership, and one-on-one coaching, one-on-one voice coaching from me. So that's the prize. Okay. Now, quickly, who am I? Why should you listen to me? I think you all know by now, my name is Wendy. I am 61 years old and I'm post-menopausal. I have been for a little while now, a few years now. Qualifications, professional wise, I am a precision and nutrition certified coach. I did my training, my coaching certification 10 years ago, back in 2014. And when I started out, it was when I first started my business, was not long after I left. I was working at Jenny Craig as a weight loss coach for Jenny Craig, and I absolutely loved it, but I wanted to do it for myself, have my own business. So that's when I went out and got myself certified. In the beginning, I was just doing general weight loss, healthy eating, that kind of thing. Then I decided I wanted to kind of automate things. I did that for a few years. Then I decided I wanted to automate things a bit. And I went into digital products. So you'll see on my website, there's quite a few recipe packs and meal plans and that kind of thing. And I got all of those up. But then after doing that for a good 12 months or so, I found that I just missed not being able to interact with people and not having that human interaction, I guess, because as you probably guessed by now, I like to talk. And I like to see people, talk to people, interact, all of that kind of thing. And that's, I guess, why I became a coach in the first place, why I love coaching, why I have a passion for it. So after I went through the changes with menopause myself that I went through, that's when I decided that I wanted to narrow down what I was doing and actually specialize in helping postmenopausal women. So that's what I do now. If you're going through menopause or you've been through menopause, and I really especially like to help the women who have been through menopause like some time ago, but still aren't really very happy with the way they feel, with their weight, their body, that kind of thing. And they've just kind of gone, I'm sick of it. I'm over it. I've tried everything. I've had enough, and just kind of thrown their hands in the air and gone, that's it. I give up. I just have to accept that this is the way life is. So I especially like helping those women because you can turn things around. As I like to say, you're never too old, and it's never too late. If I can do it, you can do it too, basically. Now, my own personal story, I'll just touch on that really, really quickly. It's probably embarrassing to admit, but because as a coach, I should have known what was going on, but I didn't. I really didn't know what was happening with my body as I was going through the menopause changes. I was prepared for the hot flushes, the mood swings, the night sweats, even. Those just the generally kind of the brain fog and forgetful memory, those kind of things I was prepared for. And I was like, yep, okay. And when they happened, I was like, yep, I get it. But what I didn't realize is that because of the hormonal changes that happen as you go through menopause and even afterwards, it can happen for quite a few years. Your body can just keep changing and your hormone levels are fluctuating up and down and like all over the place, not quite so wildly afterwards, after menopause, as when you're actually going through the transition, but they do still fluctuate. So yeah, what I didn't realize was that it can cause inflammation, especially as I was eating well. I've always eaten pretty well, and my body's handled sugar pretty well, and I didn't realize that one of the changes mean that our bodies don't handle sugar as well anymore after menopause. Now, where did I write? Yeah, I've been writing myself little notes just to remind myself of little things that I do want to say. It's kind of like, what you could get away with when you were younger, you just can't anymore because your body doesn't handle processed foods and it doesn't handle as well. It doesn't handle sugar as well anymore. And that's just kind of the way it is. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do about it other than suck it up kind of thing. It took me quite a while to kind of get used to that and go, okay, fine. I kind of can't keep doing that, but okay, fine. yeah, you just kind of have to, yeah, suck it up and make a few changes. But it doesn't mean you can't have treats. It doesn't mean that, you can't still enjoy life. It doesn't mean you can't have a drink, can't have a drink, can't have a glass of wine. It doesn't mean you can't have some chocolate and, whatever every now and then, because I'm a big believer in the 80-20 rule, where you eat whole foods and you eat really, really well 80% of the time, so that 20% of the time you can have those not so nutritious treats and foods and things that you eat just for pure enjoyment, not necessarily because they're good for you or they're nutritious and nutrient dense, that kind of thing. So yeah, I kind of went through denial, I guess. I didn't know what was happening. And then as I was going through, my exercise really suffered. I was getting weaker. I was losing strength, losing muscle tone, fitness, and I couldn't figure out why. So it took me a long, long time, way longer than it should have, for me to kind of realize, like, oh my God, I need to do something about this. I need to figure out what the heck is going on and why, which thankfully I did. That's why we're here today. Excuse me. I went away and did some research. I took quite a long time. I kind of went very quiet online. I went behind the scenes and just found out everything I needed to find out. I did some research. I did courses and things. I learned from top experts in women's health and figured it all out. And that's how I've come up with this program, the Midlife Mojo Reset program. And I've put it all together. I've just kind of grabbed everything from everywhere and gone, right, this, and it's all factual, it's all science, it's all science-backed, science-based stuff. It's not just, airy-fairy fluff in the sky of, someone's randomly come out with a supplement that works or whatever. That's not what this is about. It's about science-backed research, actual factual things that work. And I've just put them together in my own unique way and presenting them in the program. So yeah, as I say, if I can do it, you can do it too, especially with some help, with a little bit of help. Now, we are going to cover quite a bit. We're going to go through quite a bit, but don't feel overwhelmed at all. That's probably, it's when you try to implement everything all at once, that's when it becomes overwhelming and too much, and you quit, and it's all over. And I know that's what happens a lot of the time when we diet. We go all in, we go, woohoo, I've got this new diet, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that and I'm going to do, and from all the women that I've coached over the years, it takes quite a while. Everyone in the beginning goes, yes, I understand, but they kind of don't quite totally get it, because they go, yeah. And then they go, all right, I'm going to change this, I'm going to do my eating, I'm going to do some exercise, I'm going to exercise every day, I'm going to blah, 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 blah. And it's just all too much. And they eventually realize, oh, okay. They eventually finally get it and go, right, okay, one thing at a time, right? Yep. So let's get into it. I'm going to flip between these slides now, and I've got the actual program open over here on the other, just behind this. So hopefully this will just pop up when I do the screen share, but we'll see. Where was I? Yeah. Now, the Midlife Mojo Reset is a holistic approach to living your healthiest, best life as you age. We combine nutrition, exercise, rest and recovery, sleep, stress management. As I said before, your physiology is different now, so you need a different approach. It's kind of as simple as that, but there are a lot of factors that go into it. And as I said, is this where we're getting into habits? Yes. As I said, don't try and do it all at once. All right, I'm going to see if I can flick over here. Mindset is where we start. We've got an introduction module before we get into the 3 modules of the program. There's nutrition is module number 1, exercise is module number 2, sleep, rest and recovery is module number 3. But there's an introduction, and we talk about mindset and just implementing habits and change, just to get you in the right frame of mind and in the right mindset. Because as it says here on this slide, what you believe about yourself and what you tell yourself is true. So if you're listening to all those negative thoughts, we all have negative thoughts all the time, every day. And if you're listening to those negative thoughts and allowing them to take over, then you're not going to have a very high opinion of yourself. And you're going to believe. And a lot of the negative thoughts are just silly things that we don't even think about. Like you might tell yourself something like, oh, I'm not very good with names. And you say that, and you might even say it jokingly when you meet people. An example that I like to use of myself is I used to always say jokingly, oh, my balance is terrible. I really don't have very good balance. And because I believed that, I didn't. I didn't have good balance. So I actually learned to reframe that into just very gradually. I believe if you're reframing negative thoughts or if you're using any kind of affirmations, if you go straight from one extreme to another, it's not really going to work, or it's not going to work as effectively as if you can do it gradually, slowly and gradually. If you just go from saying, like if I went from saying, oh, my balance is crap, I don't have great balance. If I went from that to saying, oh, my balance is great, it's fantastic, my subconscious would be objecting to that and saying, no, that's not true. Just because of, that long-term, long-held belief that I had previously had. So what I actually did, knowing that, was I just started saying, oh, look, to myself, I used to not have great balance, but I'm working on that now. I'm going to work on improving my balance, and I'm going to get better. And you know what it did? Yeah. So whether or not you believe in affirmations, positive mindset, meditation, all that sort of stuff, or if you think it's a bit woo, I don't know. But I love it because for me, it works. And once I did start to reframe and say, hey, I'm working on it, I actually did start to get a bit better. It did work. And then from there, I went further and said, hey, I'm working on this and my balance is not bad now. It's quite good, getting better all the time. So yeah. And you can even stay there, like you don't have to say, yay, I'm fantastic at this and I'm great and I'm the best. You can just, stay at, hey, I am working on whatever it is. I used to think this, or I used to be this. I used to, whatever. But now I'm working on. Now I'm getting better. But yeah, whatever. So, all right, I'm going to see if I can show you the habit list. No, that's not going to work. Okay, never mind. I would have to, I guess, stop the screen share and shift over to the other. All right. But basically, we have a list of 21 habits inside the program. I'll flick through these, I think, at the end, just so you can quickly see. We have a list of 21 habits, and they range from just simple little things like putting a morning routine in place, aligning your eating with your circadian clock, increasing your hydration, eating enough vegetables, eating protein after having a protein-rich meal after every workout, within 45 minutes of your workout. Mindful eating, sitting down and eating slowly, actually taking the time to eat slowly, aiming to get between 7 to 8 hours sleep, going to bed at the same time every night, all those kind of things. So, okay, so you get it, I'm sure. You get what I'm talking about. We have a list of those, and that's in the introduction. And in the introduction, I get you to choose just one or two of those habits to start with and implement, and I get you to choose what you think is going to be the easiest one. Now, I know quite often with other different things, so things that aren't related to your health and your weight loss, if you're going to choose something to tackle, I know, lots of productivity experts say, like eat that frog, which is tackling your biggest, hardest thing, first thing in the morning. This is the complete opposite. It's find the one that's going to be the easiest for you. So that might be just adding vegetables to every meal. And you're going to do that for a week or two as you work your way through the program. And as you work your way through the program, I suggest doing one lesson. There's 5 lessons in each module, and I suggest reading, listening to, absorbing 1 lesson per day, and obviously go at your own pace. If one is particularly kind of difficult to understand or comprehend, or do you think it's going to be difficult to implement, spend a bit more time on it, go over it and over it a few times before you move on, or go through it all and then come back and go through that again. But going through more than once is definitely going to be helpful, and going back to things over and over again, because, it's like everything. You don't just go through something once, learn something once, and just suddenly you're able to do it. That's not how things work. That's not how life works. Okay, so you're going to implement the easiest habit, and the reason for that is to make it easy on yourself, simply to make it easy on yourself. And so you get a quick win. So after that first week or two, you're going to get a win out of that, and you're going to feel good. You're going to celebrate it. I'm going to make sure I'm going to bug you to celebrate it. And then that's going to obviously pump your motivation up, so you can move on to something else, and you move on to the next one. And you keep going until you've run out of all of the really easy ones. But by then, it's not going to be so hard to tackle ones that are going to be a bit harder or a bit more challenging. So that's the beginning, getting in the right mindset, keeping an open mind, and starting slowly, one step at a time. Okay, nutrition strategies. In the nutrition module, we've got 5. As I said, we've got 5 lessons. We talk about aligning with your circadian clock, eating the right combination of foods in the right amounts, meal timing, which is more around your exercise, mindful eating, which is eating slowly, just sitting down and actually being present while you eat, not rushing. And I know that's not always possible, but we try and do it as often as we can. And you'd be amazed how just sitting down and being mindful, being present and eating slowly, that can work so much better than counting calories ever has. So it's going to eating the right foods, the right time, the meal timing, all of that is going to reduce your inflammation. Distracted by the Facebook comment, sorry. Reduce your inflammation and your cortisol levels, and it's going to reset your gut microbiome. Now, I'm sure you've heard lots and lots of talk about gut health and your microbiome, and if you can feed your gut bacteria a wide variety of foods, and obviously fresh vegetables, lean meats, healthy fats, and whole grains are all very, very important. Prebiotic, probiotic foods as well. Don't know if I'm jumping. Yeah, I am jumping ahead of myself a little bit. Here we go. Feeding your gut bacteria, fruit and veg, whole grains, nuts and seeds, lean protein, healthy fats, prebiotics and probiotics. So all kinds of fermented foods, yogurt, kefir, sauerkraut, kimchi, kombucha, tempeh. There's probably a few others that I have forgotten, that I haven't mentioned right now, but you get the idea. All help to feed your gut bacteria. And when you have a happy, healthy gut, that because your gut controls a lot of your body's systems, and it controls, I know a lot of people probably do know this, but if you don't, it also controls your immune system. 70% of your immune system is in your gut. So keeping your gut healthy also keeps your immunity up. And then, yeah, mostly whole unprocessed foods. Now, instead of counting calories, I like to use hand portions and, as I was saying just before, counting macros. So that's just a very quick, brief overview of what we do. It's a balance, as I said, of eating the right amount of protein at every meal, vegetables at every meal, a certain amount of carbohydrates and healthy fats every day as well. And when you get them right, and when you align with your circadian clock, that 12-hour eating window, it kind of feels, for me, when I first started doing it, it felt like magic. It felt like something magical had happened and shifted. It's just hard to explain. Anyway, let's move on. So there we are. That's it all broken down. You'll be able to catch this on the replay or take a screenshot if you like. I'm going to keep moving on, so we're not spending too much time on each thing. Your nutrient timing and your eating habits, as I said, aligning with your circadian clock. It is time-restricted eating, but it's not, I guess, as severe as a lot of intermittent fasting can be, where you're restricting for 14, 16, even some people go further, 18-hour restriction windows, and they don't give themselves very much, or I don't feel like they give themselves very much time during the day to eat. And those have been shown not to work very well. The extreme intermittent fasting has been shown not to really work very well for women. Anyway, from what I've learned from my research. It can work, I think, like the 14 up to maybe 16-hour windows can work for postmenopausal women who are very sedentary, who basically do no exercise and don't do very much at all. But if you're at all active, and that's what I encourage in this program, is being active, because that's going to keep you at your healthiest. If you're at all active, stick to the circadian 12-hour window. So it just means, eating within a 12-hour window, pretty much within daylight hours, and your last meal is around about 3 hours before you go to bed, and that's just to aid your digestion. So your food is properly digested, and your body and your brain don't have to worry about any of that while you're asleep, and it will give you better sleep. Protein and fiber with every meal, as I said before. A protein-rich meal has been shown. I used to think, before I went through menopause and before I did any of this kind of heavy research, I used to think that meal timing didn't really matter, especially for, just us ordinary people who aren't, I used to think it was just for athletes. Of course, it's important for athletes, anyone doing anything, any kind of extreme exercise and training. But now we're finding that having a protein-rich meal within 45 minutes of exercise is very, very beneficial for post-menopausal women because, again, because of the hormonal changes, your physiology, your body's in a catabolic state after or while you're exercising and afterwards, and it will stay in a catabolic state until you, catabolic meaning breaking down muscle, so until you get that refeed in and get those nutrients back into your body, it won't turn back around into an anabolic state, which is what you want, which is muscle building and repair and recovery. And when I say muscle building, we're not talking about great big hulking muscles. We're just talking about strength, keeping a level of strength and bone density, which is super important as well as we age, as we all know. And then the final one is eating slowly and mindfully. Being present, eating slowly, stopping when you're full or just before is so much more helpful, so much easier to do than counting calories. I'm just going to leave that one there because I could go on about it forever. Now, exercise strategies that we use within, where are we? Flick. Let's get ahead up to here. Okay. The exercise strategies are about working smarter, not harder. So kind of doing less in a way. Took me a long time to wrap my head around this one because I love it. I love to exercise. I love, I guess, I know a lot of people don't. And if you don't love exercising, that can be hard to understand. But I do actually enjoy it. I love running, but I have pretty much had to cut that way back. I had to actually stop for quite a while because I found that my body was just so inflamed and just it's such not a great state from me not knowing what I was doing before I made any changes. I had to totally stop because it was just I was trying to do more and more, and it was having a not good effect. It wasn't helping. It was just making things worse. So we're all about using strength training, which is heavy lifting, which I'm sure you've probably heard of, and you may or may not have an understanding of it. I'm not going to go into great detail here, but just know that heavy lifting is very, very, very beneficial when your estrogen levels have dropped and you don't have estrogen doing what it used to do for you in the past. HIIT and sit training. I'm sure we've all heard of HIIT, high intensity interval training. You may not have heard of SIT though, which is sprint interval training. Plyometrics as well, which is kind of the jumping, any kind of jumping thing. So it's not just the extreme things like, say, box jumps, that kind of thing. It can be just as simple as doing lateral side to side jumps, so leaping side to side. It could be star jumps, squat jumps. And you can obviously start at the level that you're at. If you've never done any before, you don't go immediately trying to do box jumps. You'll just, you'll start slowly and build up as you do with everything. So we use those to do the job that estriol used to do. Estriol is the form of estrogen that is predominant in our bodies during our reproductive years before we go through menopause. It's the most beneficial form of estrogen, and unfortunately, that's the one that declines the most. So we use that combination to do the job that estrol used to do for us as we after menopause. After menopause. So lifting heavy, you don't have to do a lot. It's not about, as I said, it's not about doing lots. It's not about doing more. It's not about working harder. It's about working smarter. So you're just doing a couple of sessions, 2-3 sessions a week, compound movements that involve more than one muscle. So things like squats, deadlifts, bench presses, back rows. And again, you're not doing very many reps. You're only doing 3 to 6 reps, and you're doing 3 to 4 sets, and you're resting. You're giving yourself lots of rest in between the sets so your body can recover before you go again into your next set. Again, you're not just going to jump straight into this if you've never lifted weights before, if you've never done any strength training. You're going to start out gently, and I always suggest and recommend getting a professional, going to a gym, seeing a trainer for a while, learning exactly how to use the machines and the equipment, so you're not injuring yourself, and you're not just jumping in and trying to do lift heavy loads or do exercises incorrectly with the wrong form. So that's our heavy lifting. Cardio. Walking's great, little short 20-30 minutes a day. Light steady state cardio is great. It's fantastic for our heart, just for our general heart health, general health and well-being, especially if you can get out early in the morning and get that early morning sun. That's also really important in part of our sleep routine, believe it or not. If you haven't heard that before, a good night's sleep starts first thing in the morning. If you need to get out and get some sunlight, absorb it through your skin as much as you can, obviously not a long time and not burning yourself, but just getting 10 to 15 minutes of sun on your skin first thing in the morning. And then, as I said, the high intensity interval training and the sit training. Have a look if you haven't heard of any of this before, or if you want some good ideas. Obviously, I've got stuff in my program, but also look at Dr. Stacey Sims. I follow her recommendations for HIIT and sit because she's right on the money and she's right at the forefront. She is a researcher, scientist, and she knows what she's talking about, and she's always up with all of the latest research that just works. She doesn't present any fluff or nonsense or anything that's not reputable. So I follow her. Have a look at her for HIIT and sit. You'll find that what she recommends for HIIT is not what you kind of traditionally think of. Like when you think of a HIIT class and you think of those circuits where you do an exercise for, say, anywhere between 30 seconds and a minute, and then you just have a really quick changeover and you move on to the next exercise and so on and so on, and you do that, and then you have a break between rounds, and then you go on and repeat. That's not the kind of HIIT workouts that we're looking at doing anymore. We're looking at doing proper high intensity. So really, but pushing for just a really short burst, really short period of, say, 30 seconds up to a minute, and then resting for a lot longer than. It's not just a 10-second rest before you move on. It's a good minute or two. Resting, getting your heart rate back down, recovering before you go in. Anyway, I'll let you look her up, and obviously if you come into the program, you can see what I've got in there as well in regard to that. Mobility, flexibility, balance, and stretching obviously are all very, very important. Become more and more important as we age. I won't spend too much time on those. Warming up and cooling down. Active recovery in between your workouts is super important, because when you're doing your workout, that's when you're actually breaking down the muscles. It's in between your workouts, in those recovery times, when your body's repairing, the muscles are growing. Tracking your progress. Tracking your progress is just beneficial, I guess, is the thing to say about that. You don't know what changes to make unless you are tracking yourself. And that's not just with your exercise, that's with nutrition, with everything. Even I track my sleep, and I just find that so beneficial, just to know exactly where I'm at and what's happening. And then you know what changes you might want to make if you're tracking things over time. Sleep. It's harder to sleep well as we get older. It's old age and the hormonal changes of menopause means we get less deep sleep. Also, we produce less melatonin. So producing less melatonin and sleeping lighter makes it, the less producing less melatonin makes it more difficult to fall asleep. And sleeping lighter, which is just something that happens as we age, unfortunately, that makes it more difficult to stay asleep. So that's where your sleep hygiene becomes important. I know you would have all heard of sleep hygiene. You know, that's all of the things where, as I was saying before, it starts first thing in the morning. So it starts with getting that sun on your skin. Even not having caffeine for the first 30 minutes when you get up, to allow your body, allow your natural cortisol levels to rise. Your cortisol levels do rise in the morning, but then they drop, and they should naturally drop as the day goes on, as melatonin and other hormones come in. Not having caffeine after midday is one of my big ones, because it can affect your sleep. Caffeine has a really long half-life. I can't remember the exact number of hours, but a really, really long half-life, and that can affect your sleep. There are so many things. Having your room at the right temperature, having a nice dark room, possibly having a hot shower or a hot bath before you go to bed. That can actually help you sleep. And then obviously there are things like a sleep routine, screens, turning screens off, not being on your phone in bed, and not being on your phone before, even for, say, for half an hour or so before you go to bed. Just stopping that, doing some nice light, gentle yoga, reading a book, that kind of thing before you go to bed, dimming your lights after dinner. Lots and lots of things on the list that we can go through, but I won't spend too long on those right now. Managing stress, again, obviously really, really important. The hormonal changes of menopause actually put a lot of stress on our body that we often don't realize. I know I certainly didn't. I had no idea that I was stressing my body as much as I was at the time. Now I do. So it's a case of, when you know better, do better, is what I think. Deep breathing, meditation, being kind to yourself, speaking kindly to yourself, as we were talking before about being in a positive mindset, reframing those negative thoughts into positive ones. That's all a part of being kind to yourself. Recovery, as I was saying before, is important in between your workouts. You don't want to be going to the gym every single day and training, especially training your muscles every single day. If you were training different muscle groups, and doing short workouts, you might be able to do it, but that still, I think, would be pushing it if you're doing a strength workout every single day. The obvious signs that you need more rest are when your muscles are just sore all the time, which increased fatigue, decreased performance, mood changes, irritability, trouble sleeping. I ticked every single one of those boxes way back when, and now, thank goodness, I don't. Okay, support systems obviously are important. Your environment, often we can't change our physical environment. We can change our social environment. Hopefully we've got the support of family, friends, community. And that's where that's why I started my membership with the community, so that you've got the support of like-minded women around you, not just friends, family, who may or may not understand what you're going through, may or may not get it, may or may not really, because they don't get it, they don't seem to care as much. I'm sure they do, but they just don't seem to. So yeah, having, I guess, a safe place where you can talk about exactly what you're going through, people who understand and just get it, and obviously can offer advice, help, suggestions, that kind of thing. Managing stress at work is obviously really helpful as well. All right, we're almost to the end. Supplements. Now, there are a gazillion amount of supplements out there. They can be helpful, but be careful about who you listen to and what you take. I take a few things, but things that I know are very, very safe to take. Some things I find, like collagen, I do take it myself. I'm not totally convinced. I don't know whether it is actually helping or not, because I haven't taken it on its own without the other supplements that I take. I do know vitamin B definitely helps. Obviously, if you're able to take it And this is something where you may need to talk to your doctor. Don't just randomly go out and start taking supplements because someone said, or because, oh, Wendy said, whatever. Yeah, especially if you're on medication, if you have any health conditions, check with your doctor before you start taking anything. But yeah, I know vitamin B, our vitamin B levels just naturally decline, along with, goodness knows, lots of other things as we get older, as we age. So I've been taking vitamin B on and off for quite some time. I personally like to take things for a while and then take a break, give my body a bit of a break, because I feel like it does get used to things. You can get a build up. I'm not sure, but I like to take a break and then go back to things as well. I like taking omega-3 fish oils. Creatine is a very well-researched supplement that used to be kind of just for gym junkies, your bodybuilders, that kind of thing. Now they're finding it's very helpful for menopausal women, believe it or not, post-menopausal women. That's another one. If you haven't heard of it, look it up, look into it. Protein powder is, I guess, a lot of people still consider it a supplement. But it's more actually considered a food these days, because it's a legit way of getting enough protein, getting the protein, meeting our protein needs. Yeah, so that's probably about all the supplements. Or ashwagandha can be helpful. And again, there are a few that they're not necessarily proven, but they can be helpful. And if it's not something that's harmful and you feel like it's helping, then I say go for it, take it by all means. So, and we're getting to the pointy end. Please remember, nothing I've shared with you today is theory or fluff. It is all science-backed. It's well-researched, proven strategies, and I've just put it all together inside the Midlife Mojo Reset program. I just put it all together in my own unique way, in a way that I think works. It is still very, very brand new. Obviously, I have done it and I do it. I live it every single day. And I've only had, because it's new, I've only had a couple of people go through. This is the actual official launch of the program. And I did a kind of a very quiet, soft launch of it. I really only kind of told my email community about it a couple of months ago. Did a soft launch, and I had a couple of people go through it who have also so far had really good positive results. So, I don't have a lot of testimonials to put up here and say to you, look, this happened for this person and this happened for that person and whatever. But yeah, we're in the early stages. It's new. I know that it works. I can, get a couple of people to talk if you want, whatever. What was I going to say? Oh, damn. Okay. There was something else I was going to say that's just gone now. Anyway, never mind. Okay, prize winners. On to the prize winners. Now, the first winner is Alison Gillies. Now, in the Facebook group, I said for anyone who introduces themselves, you'll go into the draw to win one of the VIP cohort spots. Alison was the lucky winner of that. So I don't think she's here. I'm pretty sure she said that she couldn't make it, but yeah, well, I'll be in touch and let you know, Alison, and hopefully you'll see this when you watch the replay. And the second one is Nolene Marion. Randomly, I chose your name randomly, believe it or not, put them into the online generator thing. Everyone from the registration list, I put Nolene's name. I put everyone's name in, and Nolene was the winner that came up. And I remember she was actually in the Facebook group introductions as well. So I guess she had two chances, and I guess it was meant to be Nolene. So there you go. You're the second winner. Okay, now we can talk very quickly about the program. I'm going to switch the screen share over, and I'll quickly flick through the actual program so you can see, and I'll give you a quick look inside the membership as well. And I'll let you guys quickly read through those. And I am actually going to stop this screen share for now. I'm going to have a quick look and see, can you make your note screen larger? Oh, no. Sorry, Naomi. Do we need to take notes? Or do you send us something? Yes, there's going to be a replay of this. So you'll be able to go through that. You'll be able to screenshot things. You'll be able to stop, take notes, whatever, as you watch the replay. So that's that. Now, I'm also going to screen share. I'm going to swap over to this one, and I'm going to screen share this. Where's my Zoom gone? I'm going to screen share. So I'll give you a quick flick through the PDF and share. Okay, hopefully we can all see that. So,
No,
sorry?
can't
No.
see it.
Okay. It says that I'm screen sharing. Interesting.
It's really small.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So probably not much point then going through and taking a quick flick through and showing you. But yeah, anyway, that's yeah, I guess it is quite tiny, isn't it? Yeah. That's just to show you what's in the actual PDF of the program. So that's that. And then there is a separate, there's a few little charts and infographics and all that kind of thing at the end. All right, I'll stop that share. Probably not much point doing that. And I'll show you maybe the recipes. Maybe you can see the recipe pack. Let's see. That can go. Let's make that bigger. Let's go back here. Share. Keynote. And let's go. All right. Can you see that? Saying that it's sharing. Hopefully you can see that, guys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So just so you can have a really quick, actually, let's go this way. Just so you can have a really quick, you can see there's, oh, it doesn't show you the number, it's the pages, but there's 41 recipes inside there. That just gives you a really quick overview of all of the recipes that come along with it. The recipes are designed as a couple of meal plans as well, just to give you an idea of how to combine the different foods, templates and things you can use, and then it gets into all of the recipes. And they're designed to be high protein, high fiber, and obviously lots of veggies, anti-inflammatory, all of that good stuff. So I'll get out of that. That just gives you an idea of what's what there. Now, let me also give you a quick look inside the membership. See if I can share see if I can share that. Screen share. Safari. That should be it. Okay. Hopefully, it says I'm sharing. Hopefully you can see. You can see that. This is the inside the Better Than Ever membership, where there's going to be, I'll tell you in just a couple of minutes, there's a couple of different ways that you can join the program if you want to join the program. And this is one way, which is inside the membership. This is the community. As I was saying, there's a community area. It's very similar to kind of Facebook, but without all the distractions of Facebook. I post a check-in every single day, so you can check in if you want to or not, totally up to you. There's also weekly check-ins, which are a good idea because then you can keep an eye on your progress. As you go as you go through week by week. And as you see, you can like, comment. Anyone can post. Anyone can put posts up. You can like, comment, talk to each other, and share all different kinds of things. So that's the community. Here is a little message inbox. So you can actually message. You can message each other. Members can message each other. You can message me and ask questions, or you can just post. The best way, obviously, of asking questions is just to, on one of these daily check-ins, just hit comment, write a comment in, put your question in, and then everyone benefits, obviously, from that. That's the biggest benefit of group coaching, is that we all learn from each other and we all have, different perspectives, different life experience and all of that. We can all learn from each other and benefit from that. But if there's things that you need to talk to me about, that's what the little message inbox is for. Now, we have, as well as the Midlife Mojo Reset program. There is also, it's a little bit slow loading sometimes, especially on my computer. There's lots of mini courses inside here as well that you can do, that you can take anytime. I won't go through all of those right now. There's meal plans there's little libraries that you go through here on the side to click through. There's a few different meal plans and ideas, adding to them all the time. So yeah, there will be more added to those. Recipes, there's an absolutely enormous recipe library because this coaching platform that I use is contributed to by other coaches, not just me. We all have our own individual, obviously, community, but there are shared resources, and there's something like 6,000 last time I counted recipes inside. So yeah, and you can use filters and things to obviously find them because you're not going to sit there and scroll through 6,000 recipes. Then there's workouts, then there's resources. Yeah, you get the gist. So we'll stop that screen share there for now. Go back to, where's my slideshow gone? Okay, so that is, oh, where is my screen? There it is. Okay, there's my slide. So back to the program. Keynote, share. All right, you should be back into that again. So these are the I guess, yeah, the benefits of joining, of buying the program. What you're going to get out of it. Why not? Yeah. So why not just go away and implement everything that I've just shared you? Basically, just because it's really, really hard to do on your own. And statistics say you'll probably give up. It is really hard to do on your own. So let's make it easy. There's the links right there. And there are actually 3 ways that you can join the program to start off with. It may be changing over time and morphing over time, but initially, these are the 3 different ways. You can, actually, I'm going to stop sharing that screen for now. You can, excuse me, just go to the website, buy the PDF, buy the guide, and go through it, work through it yourself. Obviously, as I just said, doing it by yourself is hard. So unless you're really, really disciplined and you're prepared to take it slowly and work through it bit by bit and make changes one by one, nice and slowly, you can do it, obviously, you can. The second way is I'm offering a bonus for everyone who's registered for at the beginning and to celebrate, I guess, the launch, and because it's all new. The second way is you'll get a bonus 3 months worth of group coaching. If you want to buy the program, go through the program, and you can jump into the membership. It'll cost exactly the same as just buying the PDF. It won't cost you any extra. You'll get 3 months of group coaching with me, and you'll be able to, obviously, as I just showed you inside the community, get help as you're going through, and the benefits of all of the other things inside there, the resources, the recipes, the other little mini courses. You'll have access to all of those for 3 months. And then the third way is if you would like my help individually, if you would like some one-on-one coaching as you go through, you'll get all of the benefits of everything that I just mentioned in those in your first 2 options. And you'll also, as well as inside the membership, getting all of that, you will also have one-on-one voice coaching from me, because I know we can text or whatever, voice or text. So I know everyone's busy and we don't have time for, Zoom calls. And I really do appreciate you guys who have turned up today. I really appreciate you turning up and giving me your time and listening to what I have to say. And I hope that it's helped you. I hope that you have found it helpful and beneficial. As I said, I appreciate it. We're all busy. We all have busy, busy lives. But if you decide you want to do that, it's not that you have to, if the one-on-one coaching, you don't have to put aside, half an hour, whatever, for Zoom calls and that kind of thing. I found voice note coaching. I have done it a few times with people now, and I have found that it works really well, because you're able to just, you can type a quick message and then I can answer, and you can look at it, listen to it in your own time when it suits you. All right, so that's it. That brings us to the end, I think, of everything that I needed to say, that I wanted to say. Does anyone have any other questions? Let's see, we've got one more there from Diane. Should you eat protein both before and after exercise? Yes, absolutely. Have a very small meal or snack before you work out. So you don't want to have a full tummy and be feeling sick. I know I've made that mistake of eating too much before I've gone and exercised, and it's not fun. It's a really uncomfortable feeling. So just a little bit, and not immediately before. before you go and work out. If you're just having a very small meal, like half an hour or so or whatever, before you go and work out. But yes, definitely protein and carbohydrates. And I've got suggestions and ideas inside the program for those. But, things like a yogurt bowl, a very small Greek yogurt bowl with some berries, even maybe just a few slices of banana or apple with some peanut butter, those kind of things. And yeah, afterwards, absolutely within 40, 45 minutes, ideally, if you can. Obviously, if you can't, then as soon as you can afterwards, because you want to get the nutrients into your body, into your muscles especially, and get the growth, the strength, the repair, get all of that recovery, get all of that happening as soon as possible, as soon as you can.